So as somebody who's about to invest in real estate in South Africa, especially if you are from a country that's outside of South Africa, it's important for you to understand a lot of things. And most importantly, it's important for you to be fully supported by a team of legal experts, property legal experts, that can hold your hand through the process and help you understand everything you need to know so that you can be protected when making this investment, and you can make sure that you realize your return, and most importantly, that you avoid unnecessary mistakes. I cover 13 mistakes in my lawyer's guide for investors looking to invest in real estate or business in South Africa. And if you want to get a checklist, an investor's checklist from my lawyer's guide, you can click on the link in the caption below, add your details, and our team will make sure you get that checklist. Now back to the things that the most diligent buyers do when buying real estate in South Africa in order to realize a return on their investment. They go through our Prestige framework. This Prestige framework is a framework that we've created because we've seen a pattern. We've seen a pattern with clients who come to us after having signed an offer to purchase and obviously having made mistakes because they didn't understand what they were signing, and now they need us to help them with the legal implications and to remedy the situation. We are lawyers, of course, that's what we are here for, and we are always ready to help our clients. But it's important for me to let you know that sometimes it's very difficult to help you if you were not diligent in the first place when it came to signing your offer to purchase. Now, what do I mean by this? If you are a buyer that just simply saw a beautiful property in Johannesburg, South Africa, or here in Cape Town, beautiful sunny Cape Town, the problem might arise if you just see that property you signed before you ensure that you have somebody supporting you with the due diligence that is required to make sure you understand what you are signing. And we have had clients in the past, clients from Germany who were a couple buying property in the Western Cape, and I share the story with you to help you avoid this mistake. The mistake is shared, one of the 13 mistakes from our lawyer's guide for international clients looking to invest in South Africa. This mistake is the mistake of avoiding the tax implications of your transaction, and also the mistake generally of avoiding the financial implications. And it's such an unfair and very sad story that I hope that you will learn from, and you can also avoid this mistake. But this German couple bought property in a beautiful Valdavi estate in Western Cape, and of course they did that without the due diligence, without applying the due diligence, without the Prestige framework, because before when they were signing the offer to purchase, unfortunately they didn't have access to our services. They didn't know we existed to represent the interest of the buyers, property buyers. And what happened, long story short, is they signed an offer to purchase relying on the information they were getting from the person who was assisting them, telling them this is what you're going to pay in South Africa. When you are buying from a developer, you don't pay VAT, so you don't pay transfer duty, so you will only be paying VAT, and it's already included in the purchase price. You can be rest assured the only amount you're going to pay is 80,000 or 90,000 on the transfer fees. And in fact, they received a message showing a breakdown of the transfer fees, which showed transfer duty, or rather tax, as zero, because they were under the assumption that they are buying from a VAT vendor. Now, what ended up happening in this transaction, of course, is that as soon as they signed, they paid the purchase price and the transfer process ensued. The conveyancing attorneys, once again instructed by the seller, did their job, and they asked the buyers to pay the transfer fees and the transfer duty. And obviously they were shocked by a statement that was received, an invoice from the transferring attorneys showing that they needed to pay almost 800,000. That is almost R1 million that they needed to pay because they didn't do the necessary due diligence before signing the offer. Now, you may ask, how does it happen that I can end up signing an offer to purchase being guided by somebody saying they are a property professional? And of course, we have a lot of amazing amazing property professionals who can assist you in our country. However, you need to tread carefully and be very careful about who you are dealing with, because not everyone does things the same and not everyone complies with the law. But the long and short of the story is that the person that was assisting them told them they were not going to pay transfer duty, and it was unfortunately not the case, because the lawyer, the transferring attorney, sent them a statement saying they need to pay the transferring the transfer duty as well as the transfer fees. And unfortunately they had already paid the purchase price, because remember, in South Africa, when you are buying property, you sign the offer and they normally say you must pay the deposit within 7 days. After that, you pay the remaining purchase price within 30 days. But that is obviously, not set in stone, and you can negotiate and change that when you are doing that with the support of a property lawyer or an attorney realtor or a knowledgeable real estate agent. So bearing in mind that property lawyers are trained to understand, we are actually the ones who draft these contracts that get signed when buyers and sellers are transacting in property transactions. So it's important for you to arm yourself with somebody that's knowledgeable to help you avoid a situation where you, like the German couple, also end up losing almost $500,000. Now, in our law, they obviously could not get out of that contract because they had already signed it, and also they have the responsibility to do their homework. You as a buyer, have a responsibility to do your homework, meaning you must get a legal expert that can explain what the process is and what your responsibilities are. And ignorance of the law, unfortunately, is not going to be an excuse when those transferring attorneys send you an invoice for you to pay the tax and the transfer fees, because it's your job to be diligent. So all of this to say, make sure you avoid common mistakes when buying property in South Africa. Also, make sure that you get your hands on our free checklist that we've especially prepared for you as an international investor ready to invest in real estate in South Africa. Simply add your detail by clicking on the link in the caption that will be placed below here, and add your details so we can share with you the investors checklist. And also, if you need to reach out for support from one of our property attorneys, make sure you do so using the details below. Thank you so much.